Welcome. Today we'll be focusing again on the skeleton and just easing things up and supporting our skeleton, and particularly our skull. Give a little extra attention there. And we're going to be using a block and a blanket, and we'll be taking our breath work in a easily reclined position. So you can set yourself up by grabbing a blanket, and I suggest that when you do lie down, that if you want to be extra nice to the skull, you can take the blanket and just roll it rather flat here so that you can cushion your skull underneath. But then for your neck, if you want to roll up a little bit edge of the blanket, you can do that as you lie down, and that will really give you a little bit more of a spa experience on your neck. So you can take a reclined position, just take the soles of the feet to the floor and ease yourself down to the mat. And get comfortable here with that roll. I suggest the roll. Now, if you don't have a blanket handy, that's fine. You don't have to use the props. This practice can be done without props. We'll just bring the awareness to that area if you don't have the blanket or prop. So take the soles of the feet to the floor, bend the knees so we can take that pressure off of our lower back. Ease into this beginning of the practice, close the eyes and cut out the distractions so that you can go inward and notice the skeleton, the structure within the body. You can take one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. Give your shoulders permission to drop down to the mat. So roll down towards the mat, away from the chest. Allow your breath to take its natural rhythm, and then tune into the natural rhythm of the breath, observing. Feel the rise of the belly and the chest as you inhale. Notice the pause and then exhale. Notice the drop, belly and chest. As you continue this nice autonomic breathing, become aware of your skeleton in space. The skeleton and then all of the structures around it that support the movement, the flow of the body. Today we'll focus on that alignment of the skull and the sacrum. This is a nice line, quick cue for yourself when you're in any position is the back of the skull and the sacrum, the bottom of the spine, to have that nice long line between them. So when you're in reclined position, just make sure you have that line. Feel that support behind the skull. See if you can relax inside the skull, so in between the ears. And the eye sockets, see if you can relax the eyes in their sockets as you breathe. I encourage you to join me in the conscious breath exercise, which is to sip the breath through the nose so that you can hear, and open the back of the throat so that you can hear the breath as it comes in between the ears. You can almost hear it in there. And then exhale out of the mouth or the nose, your choice, making it audible. And choosing a rhythm in this inhale and exhale that's most comfortable for you, but a rhythm that you can come back to during our practice. So notice as the diaphragm expands, that's held by the skeleton. So the bottom of the ribs connected to that diaphragm as it expands. So this alignment that we have is very important for breath. So very important for the diaphragm to expand and contract, allowing our lungs to expand and release. Flutter your eyes open and we'll come to a awareness of the room around you. Again, roll the head side to side, feeling that gentle massage on the back of the skull. And from this nice, easy position, you can even take the knees together and the feet up wider apart to, again, lift the weight off of the lower back. We're kind of practicing that lift off of the joints as well this week to try to lighten things up. So let's take the hands and rub them together and warm them up. And we'll give our skull some nice attention and massage in this lying down position. So take the thumbs and find the bottom of the skull, that occipital ridge. So it's at the bottom of the skull as it meets the neck. And use your thumbs to make small circles outward direction. And notice this pressure point can communicate all the way to the sinuses, to the ears, down the neck, even to the shoulders. Reverse the circle direction inwardly. And now if you can take those thumbs and trace towards the ears along towards the jaw, find the ridges of the ears, the edges, and just pinch the edges. And then gently pull outward on the ears. So you can really feel pulling outward on the ears, that connection inside. Internally find the midpoint between those two ears. Maybe that loosens the jaw a little bit. Bringing your awareness to that spot within, it's the top of the spine. The top of the spine is in between the ears. And that axis point for the neck, for all of our eyesight turning, our ears turning to hear things. That's inside at the center point there. Release the ears, bring the middle fingers to the temple, sorry, not to the temple, to the third eye in between our eyebrows. Just massage there. And then draw along above the eyebrows until you get to the temples. And we'll take those nice tiny circles to the back along the temples. Again, awareness of that release of the eye effort, release of the hearing effort as you massage those temples. And then change the circle direction. You can just trace that line again from the third eye, easing those, finding that still point of the mind, just easing out the stress. And then circle the temples one more time. Excellent. And then drop the hands next to the body. And along the way here, we'll find some strengthening for to support the skeleton too. So we're going to do our, first, let's lengthen out though, before we do our dead bug pose, or I say dead bug pose just for kind of the Halloween theme, but normally I call it struggling bug. But let's lengthen out first. Take the arms next to the ears And lengthen out the legs. Inhale, grow long. Allow the breath to inhale deeply throughout the whole body. Exhale, and we'll take the arms next to the body, bend the knees again, take the soles of the feet to the floor. You can feel free to remove the supports beneath the neck or keep them there. But let's find that alignment. Soles of the feet are hip width apart, as are the knees. And you're going to drape the arms next to the body, palms down. See if you can lift the sternum up. So the sternum in between, so right at the connection point of the ribs, you're going to lift that up, the heart space, and then see if you can squeeze the shoulder blades together and then drop, and notice the shoulders roll back yet again. They need a lot of encouragement to do this. It's kind of more automatic for them to curl it inward. So let's open that up. Inhale, exhale, and become aware again of the skull sacrum alignment, and the lower back is a little bit of a curve lifting off the mat. So make sure you maintain that tiny curve there so we have a beautiful spine alignment. And then bring your awareness to the lower part of the ribs and see if you can tuck the low ribs, the back of the ribs into the mat a little bit so you can feel that touch point, and then you'll feel those abs engage, the deep abdominals. Great. And from this very stable position, I want you to lift the right foot off the floor and then put it back down on the floor. And then lift the left foot off the floor and place it down. As you do so, see if you can stabilize those hips, maintain the structure of a nice stable torso. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you go down. Alternate feet. Notice even with this tiny bit of movement, you're having to engage those muscles, lower abdominals, mid abdominals, and the outer ones too. The whole torso engagement. You can increase the lift of your feet, keeping your leg in a 90-degree angle so that the hinge point here is at the hip. You're not focusing so much on the bend of the knees. We're keeping that pressure off the knees by maintaining that 90-degree shape. Up and down. Inhale and lift the arms up towards the sky. Feel the shoulders drop, the shoulder sockets drop down towards the earth as you do that. But you're still reaching up as you are lifting with the knees and the feet. And then imagine that there's a magnet between your wrist and the matching knee on that side. And begin to echo the rhythm of, the movement of the legs with the arms. You can look up here if you have any confusion. We're just matching the movement. Breath, arms and legs in coordination. Finding your rhythm, again, back to the breath. If you're ever moving more quickly in space and you find that you feel a little frenzied, you can come back to that rhythm of the breath. Find it and you can influence it at any time. And if you want to take more of an abdominal challenge here, you can keep your feet just touching the ground with your toes, or you can take the feet off the mat as you make this motion. But if the movement is compromised, in other words, if you start to lose stability in that torso, then you need to just come back to the feet on the ground and stabilize. Spending a little more time here than usual just so that we can strengthen a little bit more, supporting our skeletons. And then we'll slowly bring our feet back down to the mat, right to left. Drape the arms next to the body. Beautiful. Let's lengthen again. Arms next to the ears. Straighten the legs. Drink in that breath. Inhale all the way down to the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, and then drape the arms next to the body. Great. And then we're going to roll over onto our bellies. Move away the props. And we'll meet with the forehead on the mat. Lay the arms next to the body just so that we can get contact with our belly on the mat, feeling the support of this beautiful earth beneath us. Tops of the feet are flipped so that you can feel that contact with the tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale into the back of the body, really bring that awareness to the back of your skeleton. So expand those back ribs, the forgotten area there. Exhale. Sweep your hands next to the shoulders. And with your forehead on the mat, take the thumbs the thumbs are just under the shoulders, the elbows are at the ribs. And here, let's pay attention to the structure here of the body. So we're going to go into cobra and the skull will lift, but as we do that, we're going to pull the hands towards the feet. So gently pull, and you already feel an activation happening in the shoulders. And then you're going to press the tops of the feet into the mat, and you'll already notice that tailbone starts to point down towards the heels like an arrow. And you activate the core. Inhale, lift the head off the mat. And then you're longer with your inhale already through the crown of that skull. Exhale, drop down, snake it down like a cobra. Touch down and then inhale again. As you do it, don't forget to press the feet into the mat. Feel that engagement of your tailbone, of the glutes. Exhale down. So you don't want to squeeze the glutes too hard, just about 20% of normal engagement. Exhale down. Let's try. I've seen a lot of spiders around lately, so let's take our spider hands out to the sides. So that's a little wider. You want to take your elbows up towards the sky. You can see me up here. And I'm going to press my fingertips into the mat and then the elbows to the sky. So imagine there's a little hammock for your heart between those shoulder blades, and inhale, pull the fingertips back again. Same thing with the feet, press down with the feet. Inhale, grow long on that. Rising up, and exhale, come down. This time when you come up, let's do it again. Inhale. Bring the gaze a little bit towards the top of the mat. If this hurts your lower back at all, just don't go up as far. And let's spider this one more time. Press the fingertips in, lift up. Really lengthen to take the pressure off the lower back, and then exhale down. And then bring the hands next to the body and help yourself up to a side sit. So we're going to come up to seated. Start it out lying down, taking the weight off of the body, and now we're coming to sit. Now, if you want to take a seat that's more like a cross-legged, something that's more comfortable for you, you can do that too. You can sit even if the knees hurt, like let's talk about those joints. If the knee joints are strained at all by the bending here, you can just take one leg straight out to the side and even take a block under your knee as you take that out, or even as we sit inside sit, anything that helps. Don't be feeling like using props is cheating. That's just supporting your joints. So we're going to sit in a side sit. We're going to fold the left knee in front and the right knee to the side. And take your fingertips beside you, spider hands again, press into the mat. Inhale, feel the lift already off those hip joints as you reach the crown of the head towards the sky. Notice which sits bone is lower than the other. If you took a carpenter's level, you'd notice which one is lower. Now take the blanket and place that under the lower sits bone and rise up a little bit. See if you can level out the hips. Find that place. Inhale, exhale. And then we'll take our gaze over our right shoulder. And then over the left shoulder. And then back to center, a look up at the sky. And then bring an exhale, chin into the jugular notch in between the collarbones. And then lift the gaze upward. Feel that freedom in the neck a little bit more. And then we're going to just get into our hip here. So take the right hand to the right thigh. Keep that stabilization with the left fingertips, and we'll guide our right hip towards the left knee, not right at the left knee, but just in that direction. Lift and sit, and then lift upward in the diagonal direction, and then sit. So we're gliding through that hip socket, just finding a place to plug in there, more fluidity. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you sit. And then we'll come back to our stable sit here. Inhale, exhale, and we'll take a nice side bend that also brings our neck into it. So gently dip that left ear toward the left shoulder. And then walk your fingertips out to the left. Take your palm down to the mat. Soften down towards the mat. Bend the left elbow. And just feel that release. If this strains your neck, just lift the head a little bit. But this, see if you can use the weight of our heavy head to the advantage of stretching the right side of the neck. And then take the right hand to the right thigh and see if you can anchor down through that right hip before lifting the right arm up to the sky. Nice rainbow shape there as you come over towards the right ear. Really use the muscles of the side of the abdominals to reach more. And then on an inhale, and then sink down on the exhale. Make another rainbow shape with that right fingertips. Back up. Let's find the mat with the right hand. And then dip the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then lift up the left arm gently. Touch the sky there. Sweep the arms back up. Fingertips to the mat. And we're going to take our side hip stretch. So imagine a circle around your whole seated area. Trace that circle with your fingertips to the left, towards the left knee. Inhale, grow taller. Feel that diaphragm expand. Feel that alignment of the skull and the sacrum. Still, we're having that same alignment, just twisting the top of the spine. Look over to the left. And then take your fingertips over towards the left thigh and see if you can reach in that diagonal direction. The right hip will lift a little bit. That's okay. Inhale, grow long through the spine. Exhale, take the palms down to the mat and see if you can stretch a little bit in this direction, but first lengthen through the spine and then exhale, find the mat. Take the forearm to the mat if that's comfortable for you, both forearms, so that your right elbow is meeting your left knee. And if you want to straighten out your right leg, you can take that heel to the bottom of the mat and then take the heel of the right foot and see if you can find the back of the mat. So really getting our longer muscles stretched here in the pelvis. Inhale, exhale, sink down. All the while that left hip socket's getting some flexibility. And again, don't go down as far. If this pinches at all, or if there's any pain, come up, just lengthen instead. Otherwise, your inhale lengthens you, your exhale maybe brings you closer down to the mat. You can make a pillow for your head with your hands. Find the connection between the crown of the head and that back heel. And then lift yourself up off the mat, bend the right knee, come up to seated. And then we'll take our switch over. You can straighten out your legs if you want a little break in between. Just open up that, straighten out both legs. Massage the knees a little bit along the way. Just rubbing the knees, giving those joints some love. And then let's bend the right knee in front and the left knee to the side. Again, straighten out the left knee leg if you want. Let's balance ourselves here. Take fingertips to the mat. Find the length, skull to sacrum. Take the weight off, so the compression off the spine by inhaling, filling the whole torso. And exhaling anchors the sits bones, but you still got that lightness up above. And then which sits bone is lower than the other? And find the balance with the blanket. And then look over the left shoulder. Look over the right shoulder. Come through center. Inhale, look up. Exhale, dip the chin. Again, you're not rounding forward, but just dipping the chin in between the shoulder and between the collarbones. Inhale, look up. We'll take a nice long side bend, dip the right ear toward the right shoulder, walk the right fingertips out, palm down on the mat. Left hand to left thigh. Inhale, feel the length. Exhale, find the anchor on the left hip, as well as that softening and flexibility towards the right. Lift the left arm up towards the sky. Left arm finds left ear. Those side muscles on the torso, the left side, are going to lift you up out of the weight off of that left hip socket and soften down. Find the rhythm of your breath. Inhale, lift up, trace that rainbow. Back here, we'll take the left hand to the mat, soften towards the left. Right hand, you can place it at the right thigh, momentarily anchoring before you lift the right arm up. We won't lean as far on this side to save that knee. And then come back up. Trace that circle around you to the right with your fingertips. Steady through those sits bones as the mid and upper back turn to the right. Feel the rotation of the spine. Inhale. Exhale, take the hands to that to around in front of the right thigh. Find the words. Take the palms down. Lengthen in that diagonal direction through the crown of the head, skull to sacrum. Exhale, maybe lower down a bit, or just stay lengthening through the breath. The left elbow can find the right knee, forearms to the mat, sphinx arms. And then lengthen the left leg if you can. Straighten it out. Take the left heel towards the back of the mat if that works for you. Gliding and softening through our right hip socket as we lengthen the left side. You can make a pillow for your head with the hands, or again, inhale, lengthen, exhale, get in touch with the grounding, with the forearms, with the feet, with the hips as your anchors. Draping the body down. Finding gravity to help you stretch. Then the left knee. Inhale, back up to seated. Beautiful. And now we'll take our props to the side and come over to all fours very briefly before we come up to our standing poses. So in this all fours, in order to take the weight off of our knees, we want to focus on our shins, a nice long bone to focus on. Take the tops of the feet to the mat. And you've got that, your focal point here are instead of your knees, are your shins. So see if you can press those into the mat and take the weight off of your knees and your hips. Challenging to find that. It's not an automatic habit. So let's find those shins, press them into the mat. Inhale, exhale. We'll take a cat-cow here, dip the tailbone towards the mat, lift up through the back of the body, arch up, look down at the knees, press away with your hands. And then curl the tailbone up, snake the spine. Navel comes towards the mat, squeeze the shoulder blades together, look up. And then come back to neutral, and we'll take our flow toward a standing sequence. So from here, we'll take the hands a little bit forward. We're going to inhale the right knee towards the right hand. You can help your foot up to be right inside the right hand. Bent knee. And we're going to come into a low lunge. So curl the back toes under and then lift the knee off the mat. Briefly pulling back with those hands towards the back of the mat, lengthening on the inhale. Find your skull and sacrum alignment. Find that spine column in between. Exhale, tiptoe yourself forward into a forward bend. Keep the knees bent on this round. Hang the head down, our bat cave upside down. We're going to hinge at the hips as we come up to standing. So use the hands just to remind you of that hip point, hands at the hips. Inhale through the back body into a flat back. And then begin to come up to standing position, straightening out the legs, mountain pose. Keep those footprints on the mat. Spread the toes as if you were in the sand and you want to see the imprint of your foot on the mat. Make it that hip width apart. Bring the gaze up. Now we find that alignment again. Vertical spine. Top of the back of the skull and the sacrum aligned. Find the low ribs. Tuck them in so you feel that engagement of your core. Let's travel down to those knees and make sure you're not locking the knees, but they're micro bent. Imagine squeezing a block between the inner thighs, finding that midline, the strong midline to hold you in place. And now we're going to do something similar to our the bug that we were doing on the ground, but we're going to do it standing up. So take the weight into the left foot, stand strong through the left tower, and that means engaging that glute. So there's a very strong set of muscles that can support us as we lift the right foot up and the right knee into a right angle. So hold this balance. Again, soften through that. You're strong on the left side, but not locking the knee. And then lift the right arm up to match, as if there was a magnet between the wrist and the knee. And just come up and down. So touch down with your right toes and then lift up. So we're doing one-sided bug pose, standing up. Touch down, sweep it back to mountain pose. Bring the arms up above the body. And reach up and then come into cactus arms, just because we want to have a nice flow through our shoulders. Reach up towards the sky again. I'll show you this way and then come back to cactus arms. Reach up. And then back to cactus arms. And from this cactus position, take the thumbs behind you. So point them behind you. And then take the pinkies up. And just notice that opening across the collarbones. And then palms forward again. Now take those palms to the lower skull. So to that occipital ridge, clasp the fingers and press the back of the skull into your hands. That's a nice support there. And then we can bring that beautiful engagement of the neck, muscles, and the alignment more of, rather than just floating in space, we're engaged and aligned with our skull connected to that spine. Keep this position if you can with those hands supporting the skull. And we're going to step back with the right foot. And we're going to angle that at about a 45 degrees angle, like a warrior prep, and keep the knees straight for now. But from this position, find the width of the pose of this stance that's comfortable for you, where you feel really balanced. So both feet planted nicely on the mat. And as you do this, give a tiny lift to that skull, tiny bit of traction, and then you can press gently into the hands, keeping that lift. And then begin to point the tailbone down. You can release the hands, drop the shoulders away from the ears, and begin to bend that front knee towards the middle two toes and step back as needed with that back foot angled to point us down to warrior one. So you're going to take the tailbone, point it down like an arrow. I actually had a devil costume the other day, and I had a tail that had an arrow at the end of it. And I could think of that arrow pointing down. And then take the hips and point forward towards the top of the mat. If that compromises the back knee, you can lift that heel off the mat a little bit. Lift the arms above the head. See if you can just find that ease off the hips there by lifting up through the side bodies. And then press the hands together in prayer. Look up. And then exhale, swan dive those arms out the full wingspan. And we're going to come back to low lunge. So the hands find the left foot, around the left foot, curl those back toes of the right foot under, adjust yourself. And then ease off the pressure by taking the right knee down to the mat, lengthening out in our long lunge here. Beautiful. And then sweep the left foot back to all fours. You can come back into a child's pose with wide knees, toes, big toes together. Bring the forehead down to the mat. Take a breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Curl the tailbone under on your next inhale. Come up through cat. back to all fours. And this time we're going to bring the left foot forward between the hands. Curl the right toes under into a low lunge. So again, pull the hands back. Take the fingertips, if that's more comfortable, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Allow a flow without too much straining. Tiptoe forward into a forward bend. Hang the head. Allow the weight of the head to release some tension out of the neck. You can keep the knees bent with the ribs on the thighs, or you can straighten your legs to get into your hamstrings, whatever you choose. Spend a moment here, noticing the world upside down, change of perspective. Further release on the neck. And then take the hands to the hips. Inhale into a flat back. Come up. Back to mountain. Find your strong mountain. Inhale, we're going to take the weight into the right tower there. So get those glutes engaged, lift the left knee up, right angle. Find the hips, even them out. Find that beautiful shape of the spine, pelvic, skull alignment, and then lift the left arm and touch down with your left toes and then come back up. So we're doing our bug on the left side. Is there any point of resistance? Is there something that wants to give up? Maybe the knee wants to lock or the glutes want to take a break. See if you can keep everything engaged. Flow back down to mountain pose. Take the arms up above the head. And this time we're going to reach up with the left arm and then reach up with the right arm. So we feel that length through the side bodies. All the way from the feet, all the way to the fingertips. And then come back into cactus one more time, just so we can really remind our back not to round. Take the thumbs behind you, pinkies up. Slight back bend, and then come forward, clasp the hands behind the skull, press into the hands. Feel that engagement, and then release the hands, step back with the left foot, doing our warrior setup. Press the feet, magnetize the feet together, hips find forward, that tailbone arrow finds the floor, pointing down. Bend the right knee towards the two toes and begin to step back into our warrior one. I didn't do this on the other side, but you can take the clasped hands again to the back of the skull and press into the skull gently press the skull into the hands. And then lift the arms above the head. Again, check in with that back knee. You don't want to lock it. And then look up at your hands in prayer position, salute. Full wingspan, exhale, hands down around the right knee. Curl the back toes under, low lunge. You can take the knee down if you like. Lengthen on the inhale. And then on the exhale, draw the right knee back. Stay in all fours or come back to child's, touch down with the forehead. And then curl the tailbone up. We'll come forward. Just do a brief little lizard push-ups here so we can get some strength through the arms. Slide the hips forward. Wrists are just below the shoulders, and we're going to squeeze the armpits towards the ribs. Squeeze down towards the ribs and bend the elbows and straighten, all the while lengthening through the spine. Tiny push-ups. And then push back to child's. Roll over onto your back and we'll do our bridge wave. Take the soles of the feet to the floor, hip width apart. Now we've got the back of the skull on the mat, an important placement in bridge. The skull, you want it a soft, no pressing into the mat, but just notice that back of the skull alignment. Roll the head side to side, find that midpoint, and then find the neutral, gazing up at the sky. Press the feet into the mat, the full footprint. So we've got that top to bottom alignment. Drape the arms next to the body, and we're going to do our wave. Strengthening through the torso. Inhale, lift the hips up towards the sky, bend the elbows, point the fingers up, and then reach up for the sky. Inhale, lengthen the arms next to the ears. Imagine a block squeezing between those thighs, and then reach up towards the sky. Elbows back down, snake it down. Make this your moving meditation. Back to the beginning, when you found that rhythm of your breath, use that to guide your movements 3 more times in this wave. Allow the inhale to lift you up and the exhale to bring you back down. You can grab a block, lift the hips up, place the block underneath the sacrum, lifting the hips up so they can get a little break from the weight they carry around. Straighten out the right leg, straighten out the left leg. Imagine you're standing on the floor through those feet. Sweep the arms above the head, arms next to ears. Find this length. And on your exhale, allow everything to drop down so the feet drop out to the side. And you just feel the opening of the front body. Take the right foot to the floor, the left foot to the floor. Sweep those arms next to the body. Lift the hips up. Remove the block. Inhale the left knee towards the chest. Circle the ankle. Rub out that knee again. Just give it some nice warmth through your palms. And then with the guide the left ankle to the right thigh, but make sure you keep that, take the hand actually to the right foot, to the left foot, the right hand to the left foot, and press into your hand with your foot. So keep that sense of aliveness through that left foot, and then release so you can protect your left knee. In our figure 4. Base of the skull finds the sacrum, Feel the tiny lift of the lower back off the mat. And then curl in, find the back of the right thigh with your hands. Coming back to that left hip socket. Send breath. Taking that oil can to the joints. Take the right heel up towards the sky. Straighten the right leg. Feel that stretch along our hamstring. Point and flex. And then flexing that foot, you can release, engaging those abs, and hold that pose with your right leg straight, figure 4 on the left. Bend the right knee, bring the sole of the foot to the floor. And then we're going to take let's take a twist here. So stay in figure 4. Now, if this is hard on your knees, we got to be nice to our joints today and every day. You can always unwind, take your knees together, and we'll do a twist. Or you can join me in the figure 4 twist, rolling onto your right side. Show you this way. Stay in figure 4, bring the left foot down to the mat. Take your right hand to the ankle here on the left side. Just allow the head to relax. Take a blanket underneath your ear if that's more comfortable. And let's see that left knee just go side to side, kind of like a door swaying open and closed. If your left hand finds your right foot behind you, great. If not, take your left hand to your heart and see if you can twist the ribs over towards the right a little bit. Looking up at the sky. Or taking that quad stretch by finding your right foot. This is a twisted skeleton shape. Again, those shoulders might want to come up. See if you can, again, allow them to just release towards the mat. Release the hands, come back to figure 4 on your back, and then unwind the left foot. Inhale the right knee towards the chest, circle the ankle. And then take your warm hands to that knee. Give it some love, just rub around the knee. And then take the right ankle to the left thigh. Take your left hand to your bottom of the right foot and press into the hand. Feel that activation all the way up to those hips, right? And then keep that foot alive, let go with the hand. Figure 4. Only go as far as is comfortable. We don't want to use force. We just want to ease into this. Alignment of the spine, and then inhale, curl in. Find the back of the left thigh with your hands. See if you can even out your hips. Take the left foot up towards the sky. Release if you want that ab challenge. And then grab the back of the thigh, bend the left leg, sole the foot to the floor, roll over onto your left side, and the right foot comes down to the floor. So find those anchor points. Take the left hand to the right ankle if you can. Your left knee is bent. You can find that left foot with your hand, the right hand, or you can just take the right hand to the heart and guide the ribs over to the right. The right knee maybe goes back and forth a tiny bit, stretching our hip flexors. The exhale eases you down towards the earth. And then we'll release the hands. Guide that shape back into figure 4 on your back. Unwind that right side. Lengthen the left leg out. Lengthen the right leg out. Lengthen left arm near the body, palm up. Lengthen the right arm next to the body, palm up. Press down through the arms, gently lift that sternum up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Ease the shoulders towards the earth. And close the eyes. In this position, go inward. Become aware of the shape that your body has on the mat. And on the mat, of course, our shape on this earth. Coming back inward, visualize your skeleton. That beautiful structure. With its integrity, supported by muscles, cartilage, joints, all of the miracles that work together in harmony to allow us to move through space with ease. Enjoy the rhythm of your individual breath. Notice the sound of the breath in your ears. Allow the inhale to travel through from the crown of the head down the spine. Find the tailbone and then exhale. Allow the air to travel up the spine, out of the crown of the head. And then allow the head to roll side to side gently, feeling the back of the skull. You can even roll the chin in circles, just becoming aware of that axis at the top of the spine and appreciating that as we move forward with our day or evening. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bend the knees and the elbows and roll over onto your side, right side, away from the heart. On an inhale, guide yourself up to a seated position. We'll meet in our seated position. Hands at the heart, Anjali Mudra, prayer position, pressing the palms together, reminding us of that center column always there. Thank you so much for joining the practice with me today. Namaste.